Help me study for my registered dietetic technician exam. Here are 8 more follow-along practice questions of a mixed set. A person with type 2 diabetes may notice all of the following symptoms except A. Blurry vision, B. Tingling sensation in the hands and feet, C. Decreased thirst, D. Frequent urination. The correct answer is C. Decreased thirst. Type 1 and type 2 diabetes patients may experience similar symptoms. Initially, these can be difficult to identify as symptoms of diabetes, as these can be similar to other conditions. Someone with the symptoms of diabetes include increased urgency and frequent urination, increased thirst, unintentional weight loss, blurred vision, excessive tiredness, very dry skin, slower wound healing, increased susceptibility to infections, tingling pain or numbness in hands and or feet, more in type 2, nausea, vomiting, or stomach pains, more in type 1. This question is looking for the false statement with the keyword except, in which case decreased thirst is the correct answer, i.e. it is the false statement. People with diabetes are more apt to experience an increase in thirst. Did you get it right? Let's do another. Microcytic anemia may be seen with which vitamin deficiency? A. Potassium, B. Thiamine, C. Vitamin B6, D. Vitamin B12. The correct answer is C. Vitamin B6. Microcytic anemia is defined as the presence of small and often hypochromic, pale in color, erythrocytes. This type of anemia is most commonly known to be caused by an iron deficiency, but it may also be caused by a vitamin B6 deficiency. Good sources of vitamin B6 include green and leafy veggies, meats, fish, poultry, shellfish, legumes, fruits, and whole grains. Did you get it right? Let's do another. What is the main purpose for having a central ingredient control room? A. To provide a break room for employees. B. Employees can find ingredients easily. C. To maintain a temperature-controlled environment for ingredients. D. To control costs. The correct answer is D. To control costs. The main purpose of a central ingredient control room is to control the food costs. As an added benefit, inventory quantity is also monitored. Close monitoring of this room's inventory and the ingredients used can show where the costs of the operation are going. The ingredient room should be kept clean and orderly at all times to help prevent pest infestations, and so employees can easily find necessary items. Did you get it right? Let's do another. What is the dollar amount you will need to reach your break-even point if your sales are $40,000, variable costs are $24,000, and fixed costs are $8,000? A. $16,000, B. $22,500, C. $20,000, D. $17,500. The correct answer is C. $20,000. The formula for break-even point, BEP, in dollar sales is the fixed cost divided by 1 minus the variable cost divided by sales. Adding in the variables from the question, sales are $40,000, variable costs are $24,000, and fixed costs are $8,000. Our BEP equation will look like this: $8,000 fixed cost divided by 1 minus $24,000 variable cost divided by $40,000 in sales. So let's math this out. I'm going to assign every variable a color because I'm a very visual person. My $24,000 variable cost is in red, my $40,000 in sales is in orange, and then my $8,000 fixed cost is in blue. I'm not going to change the color on the 1 since he is part of the equation and not a variable that will change. I'm going to start with my parentheses. My $24,000 divided by $40,000 will give me 0.6. And so I'm going to take that 0.6 and plug it in my parentheses. So from here, I have bracket 1 minus 0.6, and that's going to give me in my brackets 0.4. Plugging that back in, I have $8,000 in fixed cost divided by 0.4, which is going to give me $20,000. You need to make $20,000 to break even. Did you get it right? Let's do another. At the closing each day at the deli, the owner donates all packaged sandwiches that were not sold that day to a local nonprofit organization. One of the recipients contracted a foodborne pathogen from one of the sandwiches and became ill. What is the liability to the owner of the deli? A. He's fully liable for any illness that occurs. B. Liable since he went through a local nonprofit and not a national one. C. Liable for any illness that occurs if it can be proven that the sandwich was a case of gross negligence. D. Liable since the sandwiches were not purchased from a reputable supplier. The correct answer is C. He's liable for any illness that occurs if it can be proven that the sandwich was the case of gross negligence. With millions of pounds of food and grocery items going to waste each year, in 1996, President Clinton passed the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Food Donation Act to encourage companies and organizations to donate healthy food to nonprofit organizations that would otherwise go to waste. The act covers donors of various foods and grocery items that are still considered safe to eat, which may be donated to local shelters, food banks, or food rescue programs. The act protects the donors from any civil and criminal liability should the product donated in good faith cause harm or injury to a consumer. The exception to this act is that if it can be proven that there was overwhelming malicious intent of causing harm or gross neglect on the donor's part. The owner of the deli is covered by the Bill Emerson Act for anyone becoming ill as a result of a good faith donation of nutritious food to a nonprofit organization. He would only be held liable if there was clear evidence of malicious intent or gross negligence on his or his employee's part. Did you get it right? Let's do another. You're conducting a fun little experiment on the changes of color to various fruits and vegetables when acid or alkaline solutions come into contact with food. What do you expect the color to be when lemon juice is added to red cabbage? A. Yellow. B. White. C. Purple. D. Bright red. The correct answer is D. Bright red. Anthocyanins are part of the flavonoid family and are responsible for giving plants the deep red, blue, and purple colors. Anthocyanins are soluble in water and will be affected by acid and alkaline solutions. When present in an acid, such as lemon juice, the pigment in the red cabbage can turn a bright red color. In an alkaline solution, such as baking soda, the pigment in the red cabbage can turn blue or purple color. Did you get it right? Let's do another. Percent of labor cost is calculated using A. Total cost of labor minus non-productive labor hour cost divided by sales times 100. B. Labor cost divided by sales minus food cost times 100. C. Labor cost plus food cost divided by sales times 100. D. Cost of labor divided by sales times 100. The correct answer is D. Cost of labor divided by sales times 100. Labor cost includes the sum of all wages paid to employees, and it also includes employee benefits and payroll taxes paid by the employer. These costs are broken into direct and indirect costs. Direct costs are those associated with the production of a product, such as assembly line staff. Indirect costs are associated with supply labor, which does not directly produce a product. Staff would include management, clerical, and maintenance. The equation for labor cost percent is simply total cost of labor divided by total sales times 100. The multiplier of 100 sets the result in a percentage in which labor cost is usually expressed. Did you get it right? Let's do another. A company manufactures cookbooks and sells them online for $15 each. On January 1st, the company valued the cookbook inventory at $9,000, and on December 31st of that year, the inventory was valued at $2,000. Throughout the year, 1,000 cookbooks were sold and the following expenses were incurred. What is the company's cost of goods sold for that year if advertising and marketing equaled $3,000, cookbook supplies, paper, ink, binding equaled $5,000, and postage and shipping supplies equaled $2,000? A. $14,000, B. $12,000, C. $8,000, D. $10,000. The correct answer is B. $12,000. The cost of goods sold, or COGS, refers to the cost to produce a product or service. Included in the COGS are the direct labor expenses that go into producing each good or service that is sold, also referred to as direct expenses. In this case, the only expenses that may be counted towards the COGS formula are the cookbook supplies. The labor expense would also be included, but this was not supplied in the question. The advertising and marketing and the shipping expenses are considered indirect expenses, and these would not be part of the calculation. Indirect costs are expenses that are not directly involved in the production of a product. To calculate the cost of goods sold during a period, we only need to utilize the beginning and ending inventory values and the direct cost purchases made. Note that some unnecessary pieces of information were included in the question, such as the selling price of the cookbooks and the number of units sold, in addition to the marketing and shipping expenses. The formula for calculating COGS is the beginning inventory plus purchases made during the period minus the ending inventory. So, adding in all of our variables, our equation would be 9,000 beginning inventory plus 5,000 in direct supplies purchases minus 2,000 ending inventory would give us the $12,000 cost of goods sold. Did you get it right? Let's do another. Which of the following is not true about low-density lipoprotein cholesterol? A. LDL cholesterol is naturally made in the body. B. LDL cholesterol can stick to blood vessel walls, narrowing blood flow. C. LDL cholesterol carries fat from the bloodstream and returns it to the liver. D. A healthy diet and exercise can help to lower LDL cholesterol levels. The correct answer is C. LDL cholesterol carries fat from the bloodstream and returns it to the liver. All of the other answers are correct. LDL and HDL are proteins that carry cholesterol in the blood. LDL, the bad cholesterol, carries fat in the bloodstream and deposits it. HDL, the good cholesterol, picks up fat in the blood and returns it to the liver. A healthy diet and exercise can help lower LDL cholesterol levels. Patients should eat foods that are low in saturated fat and dietary cholesterol. LDL cholesterol levels can be lowered by including fiber and plant sterols like cholesterol-lowering margarine or nuts to the diet. Blood reference ranges for LDL cholesterol are optimal is less than 100 milligrams per deciliter. Near optimal is 100 to 129 milligrams per deciliter. Borderline high is 130 to 159 milligrams per deciliter. High is 160 to 189 milligrams per deciliter. And very high is 190 or more milligrams per deciliter. Did you get it right? Let's do another. If an employee works an 8-hour shift and takes 2 15-minute breaks, what is his percent of productivity? A. 94%, B. 90%, C. 92%, D. 63%. The correct answer is A. 94%. Percent of productivity is the total number of hours labored divided by total hours spent at work. The employee took 2 15-minute breaks. So 15-minute breaks times 2 equals 30 minutes or 0.5 hours. His labored hours were 7.5 hours. We get this by taking 8 total hours minus 0.5 hours on break and getting 7.5 hours. Our percent of productivity would then be 7.5 labored hours divided by 8 total hours equals 0.9375. He was 94% productive for the day. Did you get it right? Let's do another. Blank has these following characteristics: carried by the human intestinal tract, found in unpasteurized milk, can produce bloody diarrhea, destroyed with thoroughly cooking ground beef. A. Norovirus. B. Botulism. C. Clostridium perfringens. D. Escherichia coli. The correct answer is D. Escherichia coli. These characteristics define Escherichia coli, or E. coli. Other characteristics include severe abdominal pain, vomiting, and mild fever. It can take 3 to 8 days for symptoms to appear. E. coli also is found in raw and undercooked ground beef. To prevent the spread of E. coli, food should be thoroughly cooked to at least 155 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 seconds. Cross-contamination should be avoided as much as possible, and good personal hygiene should be practiced, such as washing hands with warm water and soap after using the restroom and after handling potentially hazardous foods. Did you get it right? Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe.